industry. Apart from this, both have studied in a traditional manner the Vyakana Shastra, Alankara Shastra, and Itihasas, Puranas, and Vedas right from the childhood. And after working for 15 to 20 years, they left their careers and then completely dedicated their life in spreading the Sanskriti, Samskara, and Sanskritam through e-learning. They have an organization, a non-profit organization called Vyoma Linguistic Labs Foundation in India, and that caters to the students right from the childhood who has to learn how to write Devanagari till the highest level of Sanskritam courses, which will lead them to Tenali Pariksha or Chittur Pariksha or Sringeri Pariksha. They have scholars teaching to the highest level and through online mode, and also have the offline mode of they teach Sanskritam on Sundays at Sunday school through GGSS in Bangalore. And they have several products in Sanskritam online, and 75,000 plus students are there, in close to 10,000 hours of classes, where we also employ 70 employees who work for Vyoma Linguistics Lab. Everybody works on computers, but all of them are Sanskritam only. So that is the specialty. But I personally went there and saw their office multiple times. And it's very, very unique, very rare. So they have given lectures in MIT and very high level classes in management and Indian knowledge systems. And Venkatasubramanian P is in the board of several universities in India for his academic mentoring and counseling. And Viswanathan P is specialized for bringing out all the aspects of management, finance and administration, corporate governance, risk management, all of that from the scriptures like in Ramayana. But he may cover some of those topics. He has actually conducted several courses on lessons, management lessons from Ramayana, or leadership lessons and anger management. So such courses they conduct for corporate also. So we are very, very blessed to have both the great scholars here. Thank you very much. We'll have
गुरुरेव गतिर्गुरुमेव भजे गुरुणैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः मतिरस्ति गुरौ मम पाहि गुरो गुरुरेव गतिर्गुरुमेव भजे गुरुणैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः मतिरस्ति गुरौ मम पाहि गुरो मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं हयग्रीव हयग्रीव हयग्रीवेति यो वदेत् तस्य निस्सरते वाणी जह्नुकन्या प्रवाहवत् शारदा शारदाम्भोजवदना वदनाम्बुजे सर्वदा सर्वदास्माकं सन्निधिं क्रियात् असाध्य साधक स्वामिन् असाध्यं तव किं वद रामदूत दया सिन्धो मत्कार्यं साधय प्रभो विना वेङ्कटेशं ननाथो ननाथः सदा वेङ्कटेशं स्मरामि स्मरामि हरे वेङ्कटेश प्रसीद प्रसीद प्रियं वेङ्कटेश प्रयच्छ प्रयच्छ बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। श्री हरये नमः। श्री हरये नमः। श्री हरये नमः। जानकी कांत स्मरणं जय जय राम राम। श्री हरिहर पीठ देवताः अलमेलुमंगा समेत पद्मावती समेत प्रसन्न वेंकटेश्वरं नत्वा प्रत्यक्ष श्री रामचंद्रम अयोध्यास्थ रामचंद्रम नत्वा वल्ली देवसेना समेत सुब्रह्मण्य स्वामिनं हरिहरपुत्र स्वामिनं उमा महेश्वरौ आदिशंकर भगवत्पादाचार्यान् सद्गुरु आचार्यान् सर्वान् परिवार देवतान् नत्वा अत्र समागतेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः नमस्सुमाञ्जलिं व्याहरामः। अद्य सुदिनमेव यतः वयं सर्वे अत्र रामविषयं रामायणविषयं तत्रापि विशेषतः अयोध्याकाण्ड विषयं श्रोतुं चर्चितुम् अत्र समागताः। Out of the 7 kandas in Ramayana, the Ayodhya Kanda is one kanda which is called as Dharma Kanda. So the entire Ramayana, while it has all the 4 components or the purusharthas of dharma, artha, kama and moksha, it gives all the purusharthas to the reader and to the listener. That is the Phalashruti which it says. But still, when Maricha describes Rama to Ravana, he says, Ramo vigrahavan dharmaha sadhu satya parakramaha. If you want to see dharma in a murti swarupa, then please see Rama. Because dharma is abstract, you cannot see dharma. But if you want to see the, like how Narayana Bhattatri says, if you want to see Ananda in its full murti or solid form, go to Guruvayur, he says, Sandrananda Vabodhatmakam. He says, Sandra Ananda Swarupaha Guruvayurappan. So like that, if you want to see Dharma, you see Rama. And Ramayana, when we keep reading, Dharma is that one quality which gets imbibed into us. There is, out of the many commentaries which are there is one commentary called Dharma Kutam by an author called Trayambaka Makhi. So he has taken quite a few shlokas and given the Dharma Sukshma of what Ramayana teaches us. Because Ramayana is a practical case study. In theory, they will tell us Satyam Vada, Veda Manuchya, Charyo, Ante Vasanam, all those in the theory they can tell. But how do we actually practically implement it? When there is a conflict, when there is a Dharma Sukshma or a Dharma Sankata, how should we actually act is what we can learn from Ramayana, especially from the Ayodhya Kanda. Tadrisha Ayodhya Kandam Vayamadhya Pashyamaha. We are going to see that Tapaswadhyaya Niratam Tapasvi Vagvidamvaram Naradam Paripapracha Valmikir Muni Pungavam. Ramayana starts with the conversation between Narada and Valmiki, where the description Sankshepa Ramayanam happens. After that, the Krauncha Pakshi Prasanga happens when we get the first shloka. Manishada Pratishtam Tvam Agamashashvati Samaha Yat Krauncha Nithuna Devam Avadhi Kamamohitam. And through that, the entire Ramayana is Gocharam for our Valmiki Maharshi. He composes it and gives it to Lavakusha, who chant and sing that Ramayana in the Rama Sadas. And then they start with Ayodhya Varnana, Dasharatha Varnana, Amartya Varnana, and the Ashwamedha Yaga. And from where the Payasotpatti comes from the Putriya Kameshti Yajna. And after that, ततश्च द्वादशे मासे चैत्रे नवमिके तिथौ नक्षत्रे अलिति दैवत्ये स्वोच्च संस्थेषु पंचसु ग्रहेषु कर्कटे लग्ने वाक्पदा बिन्दुना सह प्रोद्यमाने जगन्नाथं सर्वलोकनमहेश्वरं कौसल्या जनयद्रामं सर्वलक्षण संयुतं विष्णोरर्धं महाभागं पुत्रमैक्ष्वाकवर्धनम्. The Rama Jananam happens both in the place and in our hearts when we chant these shlokas. We have Rama within us sitting now and listening and enjoying this Bhakti Purva sadhana. With that Rama Jananam, at that time itself, in the same sarga, Dasharatha is contemplating about the vivaha of all these 4 children. Vishwamitra comes and takes them for the Yaga Samrakshanam. And during that Yaga Samrakshanam, while going, we see the Bala Atibala Mantra Upadesha, Tataka Samhara, and all the Astra Jnana which is being trained to them. And from there, they go do the Yaga Samrakshanam, Subahu, Vadaha, Maricha, Shikshanam, all of this happen. Then they proceed towards Mithila Nagara based on the invitation given by Janaka. And on the way, they see Ganga Mata and they describe the entire story of Ganga Avataranam in 5 sargas, which is a very, very important sarga, especially when we are even doing some Shraddha Karma. These 5 sargas can be used as Abhishravanam. When the Brahmanas are having their Bhojanam, these sargas can be used. Pitru Pritikara Sargaha Yete Santi. From there, they go to Mithila Nagari. They see the Shiva Dhanus based on the Agnya of Vishwamitra. Shiva Dhanus Bhangaha Bhavishyati. And based on the Agnya or permission from Dasharatha, they all come together and the Sita Vivaha happens. Tatas Sitam Samaniya Sarvabharana Bhushitam Samakshagne Samstapya Raghava Bhimukhe Tata Iyam Sita Mama Sutta Sahadharma Charitava Praticya Jainam Bhadranthe Paningrinhishwapanina. Very beautifully, our Sita Vivaha, Sita Kalyanam happens. Pani Grahanam, he takes the Jalam and does the Kanyadanam of Sita, Pani Grahanam. And then all the people who are there, Vidhivat, as per the Shastra Vidhi, Agni Sakshika, they do the Sita Vivaham, and all of them after the Parashurama Jayaha, they come to Ayodhya and they are all living very peacefully, happily. Almost 12 years are passing by after the Sita Vivaha. This is the Purva Katha Prasangaha. Now we are entering Ayodhya Kanda. Gacchata Matula Kulam Bharatena Mahatmana Shatrugno Nitya Shatrugnaha Meetah Preeta Puraskritaha. So after that, a few years, Bharata and Shatrugna have now gone to the Kekaya Desha, their maternal grandparents' house, and they are sitting there, enjoying their vacation there. During the same time, Valmiki is describing what is happening in Ayodhya. Dasharatha is slowly aging and he is thinking, what should I do for the next succession planning? How should I take the next Rajyabhara? Whom should I appoint? And at that time, Valmiki in the Ayodhya Kanda first sarga and the sarga, he beautifully explains the Rama Guna. So, first sarga, Valmiki himself describes. In the second, later part of first and second part of few sargas, there all the people, Sabikaha, the Prajaha, all of them start explaining the Rama Gunas. These 2 sargas, for the Phalashruti, later in the Puranas, many sargas have been told for various Kamyarthas. In that, within that, these 2 sargas of Ayodhya Kanda can be chanted when we want to be a devoted son to our parents, or we want our children to be more devoted, to be more aligned to our thinking process and be together with us and be in one saumanasya between parents, children. If we want to do these 2 sargas, when we chant regularly, that can happen is what elders have told as a Phalashruti of these 2 sargas. Why? Because there are so much of Rama Gunas which are described. We will see a few of them. सतु नित्यं प्रशान्तात्मा मृदुपूर्वं च भाषते उच्यमानोऽपि परुषं नोत्तरं प्रतिपद्यते बुद्धिमान् मधुराभाषी पूर्वभाषी प्रियं वदः वीर्यवान् न च वीर्येण महता स्वेन विस्मितः न चानृतकथो विद्वान् वृद्धानां प्रतिपूजकः अनुरक्तः प्रजाभिश्च प्रजाश्चाप्यनुरज्यते. 3-4 shlokas very beautifully. They explain around 7 qualities of Rama in relation to the way he communicates. So the first one is Satu Nityam Prashantatma. On a general normal basis, unless otherwise there is a need, like a Samudra Raja or like a Dushta Rakshasavadha, otherwise he is always Nityam Prashantatma. He is always very calm and composed nature who is there, Rama. Satu Nityam Prashantatma. With this kind of a composure, Saha Kim Karoti, what does he do? Whenever he sees somebody who is known to him, who is there, Saha Swayam Gatva, he goes by himself. Mridu Purvancha Bhashate. Purva Bhashi. In the Rama Ashtotra, when we get Purva Bhashine Namaha. So Purva Bhashi, he himself goes and talks to them. Are you fine? Whatever language we want. He says and he talks to them and very, very beautifully. Mridu Purvancha Bhashate. Very softly. So Purva Bhashi, Mridu Bhashi. 2 qualities we get from there. With this Mridu Bhashi and Purva Bhashi, is it that once he comes, he is going to talk a very long time and waste your time or something like that? No. Mita Bhashi. He knows exactly how much to talk and what to talk. That is Purva Bhashi, Mridu Bhashi, Hita Bhashi. And in that Mridu Bhashi also, Priya Bhashi. Whatever is very pleasing and soft, that he tells. And within that, why Mita Bhashi? When we say why Mita Bhashi, we get the answer to this in Kalidasa's Raghuvamsha, where he says, Tyagaya Sampratarthanam Satyaya Mita Bhashinam. So all the Satyavadi people who are there, they measure exactly how much to talk so that they talk only facts. They don't, if you extend the speech by some time, what happens? Sometime untruth may get into it. Therefore, in a conversation, we get 4 or 5 qualities now. Purva Bhashi, which shows your Vinayam. We don't wait for somebody that let him come and talk. Let me see whether he talks to me or not. Tatha Nasti. Purva Bhashi, Mridu Bhashi, Priya Bhashi, Mita Bhashi, Satya Bhashi, and now all of this is telling. Does it even pertain to us? Is it relevant to us? Of course, because all of that what you spoke are for your good. Hita Bhashi. So Mita Bhashi, Hita Bhashi, all of this he manages and brings it together. And later in one of the shlokas they say, Nashreyasi Rato Vidwan Na Aviruddha Katha Rushiki. He is not interested in any gossips. Just because he came to you, just because he is talking Mridu, Priyam, all of this, if you start any non-dharmic charcha which are there, he will not even entertain that. He will immediately either tell a Nama Sankirtanam or he will tell some good guna about some elders and then he will go away. But when it comes to Uttarottara Yuktaucha, if there is a debate about a Vishaya, let us say some matter has to be Mandanam we have to do. Many places we see, especially in the same Ayodhya Kanda, later when Bharata comes, all the sages are almost trying to go to his side. And somehow we want to convince Rama and bring him back. There is one sage, Jabala, who is actually called Satyakama Jabali. That is his nature. He is a Satyakama, is a title given to him. But for a moment, for a sarga of around 10-15 slokas, he talks about all the Nastikyam. What is there in this world? Rinam Kritva, Ritam Pivet, they tell, in that word, why are you looking at all this, some Pita or this thing? He is Pita in this Janma. Why do you want to follow all that? You do your duty. Your duty is, Jeshta Putra has to be Raja. The people are asking you, elders are telling you, you should actually look at these and do it. And he convinces it so beautifully. If we were there, we would have happily got convinced and gone there. At that time, Uttarottara Yukta Ucha Vakta Vachaspatir Bhavet. He gives a nice court judgment very beautifully, one by one. See, it tells that Sarga is called Satya Prashamsa. He does the Satya Prashamsa, establishes Dharma. What will happen now? What will happen in the future? Later, when Itihasa is told, nobody should even raise a point against my father. They should never even say that this Vakya of Ikshvaku Vamsha went Vyartha. So therefore, even not for me, but for Satya, Pituhu Satya Vakya Paripalanartham Maya Gantavyam Vanam, he decides and explains it beautifully. So in these places where he has to do, again in Valivadha, it is a beautiful Sarga. He explains it point by point, he explains and tells what has to be done. So there in those places, it is not Mita Bhashi, it is Purna Bhashi. Whatever has to be done totally, such that the matter can be resolved. Valivada in that Sarga itself, around 15 plus shlokas. In the end, Vali does namaskara and says, you have cleared all my doubts and opened my eyes. I am deserving this, and by doing this, you have actually already punished me, so that I don't need to go and suffer in Naraka again. All my prayaschitta is done here only. Thank you for giving me that mukti by your samhara. He confirms it to him, and they finish the conversation. In the later world, people are still discussing that. That is a different issue. But between those two, the parties, interested parties, have cleared it actually. Uttarottara Yukta Ucha Vakta Vachaspatir Bhavet. This kind of communication gunas we can get from Rama, and everybody loves him so much. When it comes to something like Upakara or Pratyupakara or being Kritagnyata Bhava, gratitude, they say Kathanchid Upakarena Kritenaikena Tushyati Nasmaratyapakaranam Shatamapi Atmavattayam. Lot of stories are told for this. Upakatha, which doesn't come in Valmiki Ramayana. Once when Rama in a childhood, he has gone through the forest and lost his way. A forest dweller takes him and just shows him the way outside to the city. And later he remembers it, and when he comes to a responsible position, he actually remembers, calls for that person and gives him lot of support within the Rajya. He gives him an employment, gives him lot of this thing, and he remembers it for life. He keeps telling everybody, you know what, that day if he was not there, I couldn't have come out of this vana and I would have lost my life itself. He is the one who actually saved me. That fellow, he just showed that this is the way you go, that's all. For him it is a very small thing, but for our Rama, it is a very big thing. So, Katanchid Upakarena Yekena Tushyati. And what is the reverse? Nasmarati Apakaranam. Any apakara, if somebody Satamapi, even hundreds of apakara done by 1% 100 times, or by 100 people 100 times, Atmavattaya, effortedly, even if they are doing these kind of apakaras, Nasmarati. Somebody comes and tells, sorry, that day I did like this. Oh, I don't remember at all what happened. Very conveniently he'll forget it off, and that person will be like, aha, nice guna, that he is not remembering. He is also removed out of his guilt, and he keeps happy about them. In the current loka, it is generally the reverse. We may think about ourselves when we are thinking somebody, somewhere, knowingly or unknowingly, unintentionally, if there is a small hurt which has happened, whatever we think about, that hurt remains for a long time. We may express or not express it. We may feel bad or not about it, but still that remains in our mind. But lot of help over the period when many people have done, sometimes we may forget. All those times we should remember about Lord Rama and bring back ourselves to the city of Purushottama Rama. Next, when it comes to, so lot of Subhashitas are also there as Vyakhyanas to each of these. But when we come to one more very, very important guna, the guna of serving elders, the guna of being Vinaya Purvakam to all the scholars, Jyeshtaha, and helping them, serving them, and taking all their knowledge and experience. For that Valmiki says, Sheela Vriddhair Jnana Vriddhaihi Vayo Vriddhaischa Sajjanaihi Kathayannasta Vainityam अस्त्रयोग्यांतरेष्वपि कल्याणाभिजनः साधुः अधीनः सत्यवाग्रुजुः वृद्धैरभिविनीतश्च द्विजैर्धर्मार्थदर्शिभिः. So when we go to Bhagavad Gita, there is a shloka which Parthasarathi tells, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya tada kim bhavati te upadekshyanti jnanam jnaninah tattvadarshinaः. So when we want to know the tattva of many granthas or many philosophies, by self, to some extent we may know, but there are a lot of confusions or misconceptions which may come. But when we go to elders, scholars, jyeshtaha, guravaha, or jnanavriddhaha, vayovriddhaha, vidyavriddhaha, tapodanaha, any of these people, we go to them and they explain it, it will become very clear. So, pariprashnena, pranipatena, with that humility, vinayena gantavyam, pariprashnena. And when the question is asked, just like how Valmiki asked, Paripapracha, Valmikir Munipungavam, he asked with that humility. He knew he had done thousands of years of Rama Japa, Ramopasana, and after that he asked. He didn't ask from a questioning whether Narada knows or not, whether he will tell about this Rama or somebody else. Tadrisha Bhavana Nasi, Bhakti Bhavana, Upasana Bhavana, Vistara Bhavana Asi. With this conversation, I will get to Vistara, expand this knowledge about Rama. That was the Bhavana with which he went. The same Bhavana Rama also had. Sheela Vriddhaihi, those who have excellent character, culture for Sheela Vriddhaha, Vayo Vriddhaha, with age, the kind of experience they have, Jnana Vriddhaha, Sajjanaha, with all those people, he would be actually in the Gurukulam and practicing. He would have a tight schedule. Kathayannasta te nityam astra yogyantareshvapi. He is doing that practice. He has a timetable, everything. In between, 5 minutes break if he gets, he will go, there will be some rishi, some muni, some elder sitting. So he will be sitting them, helping them, doing pada seva for them, drinking water. And while doing that, so what do you think about this? What is this? He asked them and they give all the knowledge. So the knowledge got through that is greater than the theoretical knowledge he would have gained. That is what Valmiki says. And even in our Subhashitas they say, Abhivadanashilasya nityam vriddhopasevinah chatvari tasya vardhante ayurvidya yasho balam. Those Abhivadanashilasya nityam vriddhopasevinah. When elders are there at house and every day we take care of them, just sitting with them, we learn lot of things. It can be about medicines, it can be about the Shastras, traditions, it can be about values. We learn of them, helping them physically, taking them, keeping them, and helping them. Ayur, Vidya, Yasho, Balam. All of these can extend, is what elders say. With these kind of qualities which are there like this, the entire Sarga is filled with qualities. Actually, we should take this as a 9-day or a 1-month Upanyasam, only Sarga 1 and Sarga 2. That is the kind of rich quality which is there in these Sargas. Dasharatha asks all the courtier people, today we are talking about democracy. Dasharatha, even though he had all the power to appoint him unanimously, he asks everybody whether all of you are fully happy. Is there unanimous consensus in this? And he asks, everybody say, Ichchamo hi mahabahum raghuviram mahabalam gajena mahatayantam ramam chhatravritananam. They all say, Vayam mahabahum ramam raghuviram ichchamaha. We all vote for Rama only. Simple. Right? How? Gajena mahatayantam. As you do the Pattabhisheka, he said he should sit on that big elephant. One Shatrunjaya, by name there is an elephant there. It is the tallest, mightiest of the elephant. On that he should sit. Gajena mahatayantam ramam chhatravritananam. That what is white chhatra is there. And on that chhatra, it is a very white shveta. Later in one of the places it is told that chhatra has shata avara. That is, it had 100 spokes. 100-spoke chatra, we can see how it brings this while during Brahmotsavam we will take and go. Right? So that kind of a chatra, on that majestically Rama should come and we should see him as the king, he says. Dasharatha is surprised, why, what happened, any Korata in my Rajya? No, you are doing very well. But since we all still love Rama more because of his gunas, please initiate the Pattabhisheka. They say, Tamevam guna sampannam Ramam satya parakramam lokapalopamam natham akamayatamedini. What is the beauty with which he describes? Not only the people, not only Raja, not only the ministers, the entire natures and Medini, Prithvi, Bhumi Mata was asking, Lokapalopamam yenam evam gunasampannam Ramam satya parakramam. Please keep him as the king very soon. Because what happens when there is a Nyayashila Raja, the entire bhara of Prithvi Mata reduces. So when Nyaya Shasanam is there, Rama Rajya, which is there even today, Rama is only ruling. When that Rama Rajya is established always everywhere, then Prithvi Mata can feel very light and all that dharma which is happening, she will be very happy. When all the asadu increases, all the rakshasas increases, her bhara increases. Even in Bhagavatam we say, she goes and requests the rajas and there are different charikras to tell about this. And with this, they all appoint him and Dasharatha calls Rama and tells, you have to be appointed as the Raja. He says, as you said, I will do without any sukha dukhe samay samasthiti, he is there, Sita Pragyaritya, he accepts it and he goes to Kausalya Mata, informs to Lakshmana, informs to Sita Mata also, and they go further like this. Immediately after a couple of sargas, Dasharatha again calls for Rama. He calls Rama that there is something which I want to tell. He tells Sumantra to go and bring him. And Sumantra now goes, again second time he calls him and brings him. And this situation, description is beautifully done, Varnana, by Valmiki Maharshi. You can see that there is a palace on the balcony of which Dasharatha is standing with the courtiers. And there, just like our Surya Bhagavan is coming in that Ratha there, like that Sumantra is driving our Rama and bringing him. And these three shlokas, many of our bhaktas also do Nityopasana of these three shlokas in their Satumurai or in their final Avadhana when they do actually Seva. Gandharvaraja Pratimam Loke Vikhyata Paurusham Dirghabahum Mahasatvam Mattamatangagaminam Chandrakantananam Ramam Adiva Priyadarshanam Rupaudarya Gunaif Pumsam Drishti Chittapaharinam Dharmabhitaptah Parjanyam Hladayantam Prajaha Nakatarpa Samayantam Pashyamano Naradipaha Gandharva Raja Pratimam. Just like the Gandharva Raja, the Yaksha Kubera, whoever we call, he is told to be the greatest, almost Manmata Swarupa. He is a Shatakoti Manmata Lavanya. Like that, with that Swarupa, Gandharva Raja Pratimam, majestically, like our Ramlala who is there standing majestically, like that Gandharva Raja Pratimam, Loke Vikhyata Paurusham, one who is known for his Paurusha or that courage, he is known across the world. Loke Vikhyata Paurusham, Dirghabahum, very long shoulders, very Vipulamso, Mahabahu, Kambugrivo, Mahanu. We have seen in the Sankshepa Ramayana. Mahasatvam, Mattamatangagaminam, like a majestical elephant when he walks and comes itself, you can just enjoy that way he is coming there. Chandrakantananam, how is his face? Chandrakantananam, like the Chandrakanti which is there, very pleasant to watch. Ramam Ativa Priyadarshanam, for the Ativa, our elders, they keep telling Ativa and don't stop at all. Ativa, they keep telling, because Adrisha Priyadarshanam he is. You cannot stop looking at him. Ativa Priyadarshanam, Rupa Audarya Gunaif Pumsam, Drishti Chitta Paharinam. We have to do a corresponding there. Rupa and Audarya Gunas are there. Drishti Chitta Apaharinam. Through the Rupa, Drishti Apaharinam, through the Audarya, the generosity, Gunas, Chitta Apaharinam. He takes and steals our heart also. That is why Chitta Chora, not only our Krishna, even Rama is Chitta Chora only. Rupa Audarya Gunais Pumsam, Drishti Chitta Apaharinam. When he comes to a place, all the tapa, each of us have three types of tapas. Elders say, Adhyatmika, Adi Daivika, Adi Bautika. All of these tapas is like heat. Garma bhi taptaha. And when there is lot of heat and you get a nice shower, Parjanyam, how pleasing it will be. Like that for all of us who are being scorched by the tapas, three tapas of this samsara, when we have the darshan of this kind of a Rama, Hladayantamiva prajaha. Just like us, even when Dasharatha was standing there and seeing that nice makuta which was there, and then that curly hairs, Gugur Kudur which was there, a very broad forehead, in that nice Kasturi Tilaka, the two Kamalavat Nayanam, Kamala Nayana Ram we see, that Dirgha Nasika, the very Bimba Phalam, like that very nice beautiful lips, chin, and a very equally shaped cheeks which are there, and that Karna with the Karna Kundala, Kambu Griva, the neck which is like the shape of a conch, broad shoulders which are there, and very strong hands and biceps which are there, a very Vistrita Vakshasthala which has that Vanamala, Kaustubamani and other Hara, and that Udara which is Nadina Udara which is there, beautifully state. He has that Pitambara and the Pattu Vastra, and then that gate which is there. He stands there and he is coming there with this Natatarpa Samayantam Pashyamano Naradipaha. He could not be satisfied at all seeing that Rama. Now the question may come, why Valmiki is describing Rama so much at this juncture? Because this Kataksha of Rama for Dasharatha, this was the last time he is dying. After this, the Kaikeyi Prasanga happened and he couldn't see Rama in this kind of a gait or the gesture which was there. Rama comes there, Dasharatha explains the Swapna which he had and all the Jataka Grahas which are there, and he says, probably in this kind of a sthana situation, if there is a Raja, that Raja may have some Maranam or Shivaloka Prapti. Therefore, before I go to Shivaloka, I want to appoint you as Raja. And the same reason some elders also give in their Vyakhana that Kaikeyi always loved Rama the most. Therefore, she also knew astrology. And in this time, if Rama becomes the Pattabhisheka, that Graha will actually affect Rama. So you have to defer that by 14 years. She also had that thought. But Manthara became Karana or Nimittam for this whole thing which had to happen. And then there is lot of festivities. At that time, very beautifully Valmiki describes Nyadidasi yato jata Kaikeyastu sahoshita Prasadam chandra sankasham Aruroha yadrichaya. This Manthara who was there, the Dasi, she just climbed the palace of Kaikeyi, Yadrichaya. Yadrichaya means incidentally, coincidentally. But here commentator says coincidence is not coincidence, it is his incidence. Yadi yadricha is yasya ichha asti, yadricha eva tadicha. So everything is planned by him, nothing called yadricha in this world. So he is planning, it is already 24 years by the time I have come. So now we have to do something and we have to go ahead with my karya, avatara karya. So he does that spandana. Then the conversation happens between Manthara, Kaikeyi. Kaikeyi also sits in the Krodhagara. Dasharatha comes. All of these are very, very long sargas with lot of beautiful descriptions. Conscious of time, we have to go ahead. And at that time, Kaikeyi also asks the two boons which are there. Anena Abhishekena Bharataha me Abhishichyacham Nava Panchacha Varishani Ramaha Dandakaranya Vasi Bhutva Tapasaha Bhavatu. Let him be a Tapasa for 9 plus 4. Directly 14 means without fulfilling the promise if he goes away. then what will happen? So slowly she says, Nava Pancha Hi Varshani. So therefore you please grant it. He is fully broken. Dasharatha just falls down and he does not know what to speak. So now Kaikeyi takes control. She calls for Sumantra and tells, get Rama immediately. Rama comes and Kaikeyi tells that, Kaikeyi tells Rama, your father is sitting here, he wants to tell something to you, he wants to request something to you. He says, Karishye Pratijanecha, I will do whatever he tells, because of he plays 4 roles in my life. Generally, any pita has multiple roles, but here, Guruna, Pitra, Nripena, Hitenacha. He is my Guru, he is my father, he is a king, and above all, he is a well-wisher for me. This, if all the children get to know about this quite early in their life, it would be so nice. But we realize it quite late, actually. But Rama is a difference because he had realized it early. That is why today also we talk about Rama with these kind of qualities. And with this he says, and Kaikeyi Mata says, you have to go to Aranya, and Rama also confirms. Along with, then he goes back to Kausalya Mata, talks to her, Sita Mata, Lakshmana, all of them come there. And that is the time when he talks to Kausalya, Kausalya Mata says, Rama, Dasharatha may have told you, but what does Veda says? First, Matru Devo Bhava, after that only Pitru Devo Bhava, no? So first you listen to my promise or whatever I am telling, my instruction, you stay here and be the Raja. So this is a Dharma Sukshma for us. If we had been there, yes, Veda is telling no, yes, I'll be here, Mata, and you would have happily been, because that is the Dharma understanding we have. But beautifully, at that time, Rama clarifies to Kaikeyi. So, who has, to Kausalya, who has actually told us, your Bharta, Mama Pita, the Raja of this Desha. So, that is the constitution. When there is a constitution, you cannot promulgate a law which is against the orders of the constitution. You can do something within that framework. So therefore, Maya chaiva bhavatya cha kartavyam vachanam pituhu raja bharta guru shreshtaha sarvesham ishvara prabhuhu. With so many roles which he is playing, obviously what he is telling takes precedence, and we cannot have a different stance or argument against what he is telling. So let us follow that. That is your dharma also. That is my dharma also. He clarifies so beautifully, such that she has to accept it. And with that she accepts and says, no more can I convince you. Palayasi dharman tvam dhritya cha niyamena cha savairaghava shardula dharmas virakshatu. That dharma which you are now leading, yam palayasi tvam dharmam, how? Dhritya cha niyamena cha, with determination, with shraddha, and with following all the rules. Sometimes we may follow dharma, but being forced by somebody or by our own rules or something we may follow. Not like that. He is following dharma with that dhriti and niyama. Let that dharma always protect you. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. Let that protect you. She does a Mangala Shasanam. Ritava Sagara Dvipa. She does a beautiful Mangala Shasanam and sends Rama there. Rama goes to the forest. While leaving, Sumitra tells Lakshmana a few words. Very beautiful. Out of that one shloka is a very shloka which we have to do anusandhana. Ramam Dasharatham Vidhi Mam Vidhi Janakatmajam Ayodhya Matavim Vidhi Gajata Thayata Sukam. So Sumitra tells Lakshmana, Srishtasvam Vanavasaya. First understand what is the purpose of your birth. You have taken a birth only for Vanavasa, only for Rama Kainkarya, only for Seva to Rama. So therefore, Ramam Dasharatham Vidhi. When you go to the forest, in case you are missing Dasharatha, see Rama and consider that he is Dasharatha for you. Mam Vidhi Janakatmajam. See Sita Mata and think that she is your mother. Ayodhyam Atavim Vidhi. That forest which is there, think that to be Ayodhya. The place where you grew up, where you have friends, where you are happily enjoying. Ayodhyam Atavim Vidhi. He Tata, Gacha Yatha Sukham. Go happily. Do not feel sad or do not feel angry, but be with happiness and enjoy this opportunity which has been given by Bhagavan. Like that, she consoles, she motivates, she inspires Lakshmana and sends. Because she knows Lakshmana may get angry. She knows that, but still, to convince him, she sends him like this. The same shloka, if we see, there are multiple meanings for this. Ramam Dasharatham Vidhi. Dasharatha also has another meaning. Dasha means the Dashadik. Also it means Pakshi. So Pakshi Ratha or Garuda Vahanaha Kaha Saha Vaikuntadipatihi Ananta Padmanabhaha Venkateshwaraha Narayanaha Paravasudevaha. So Ramam Dasharatham Vaikuntavasi Narayanam Vidhi. Janakatmajam, that Janaka's daughter is there, no? Don't think she is an ordinary human being. Mam Vidhi. Ma also represents Lakshmi. Ma means Lakshmi. So she tells the secret like this. Janakatmajam Mam Vidhi. Think of that. And Ayodhyam Atavin Vidhi. This Ayodhya in the Taittariya Aranyaka, they say Devanam Purayodhya. It is the Devanam Puhu, Ayodhya and the Atavi which is there. That is nothing but that Vaikuntha, where the Nitya Suris are always standing and doing Suprabhata Seva to Narayana. That is Vaikuntha. Where they are there, that is Vaikuntha. So, finally, where everybody wants to go and achieve that Yatha Sukham, you are already getting it along with them. Gacchata Yatha Sukham. This is the Upadesha given by Sumitra Mata to Lakshmana, which is the Upadesha for all of us also. We should not just think Rama is a historic character or this is only a story book, Ramayana. We have heard this story so much, what is there? That elders tell us, don't get misguided like that. Every time you read, so much Upadeshas are there for our, it is a practical life manual, just like our Bhagavad Gita. So with this he goes, he does the Yatra Dhanam, he goes to the forest, Aranya Pradesha, and while he is gone to the Aranya Pradesha, we have the Dasharatha who is thinking about the previous Sharavana Kumara Prasanga which has happened because of the Shabdavedi Vanam which has happened. Then there in the Sharavana Kumara Charitram, he talks about all the values of karma. Yaha Shubham Karoti, Sa Shubham Prapnoti. Ashubham Karoti, Ashubham Prapnoti. I have done that mistake and it is time for me to finish that prarabdha karma or the sanchita agami, whatever karma it can be called. I have done that and I have to experience that. Therefore, with that he thinks about Rama once more and with that he goes to the Shivaloka Prapti. So from this and as he goes to the forest, I would request Anna to take and explain the next part of the Ayodhya Kanda. Shri Haraye Namaha Janaki Kanda Smaranam Jaya Jaya Rama Rama. Sarvebhyo Namaskaraha. Matula Kulam Gacchata Matula Kulam Bharatena Mahatmana Shatrugno Ira Shatrugnaha Nita Priti Puraskitaha. That is where our Ayodhya Kanda started. And that is the point where Vishwanath has given me once again. So, Matula Kulam, maternal uncle's place. So, our Bharata and Shatrugna, when all these things are happening, they were in the maternal uncle's place. So, they had to be brought back. So, as soon as Dasharatha Parthiva Sharira goes away from this loka, all the Antapura Vilapa takes place. All the Dasharatha had so many wives. Pradhanataya we know that he had 3 wives. But in one of the sargas they say there were many wives. Rajanaha Bahuvallabha. So they will have normally many wives. So all these Antapura streets, they are all crying that okay, Dasharatha has passed away and they are thinking of the next actions. So then Vasishtha and others, they take a decision. They bring that body of Dasharatha and keep it in a box.
and that oil box. Even today, when somebody is yet to come for the Ayodhya Sanskara, what we do, we keep it in a box and so that bacteria, virus do not spread. And we protect the Parthiva Sharira till it is given the Antya Kriya. So the same thing happens here because Bharata and Shatrugna are miles apart. They are in another way, like in another country, so they have to be brought back. So the fastest of the charioteers are sent by this thing. So there is a meeting. First in that meeting, Ikshvakunam Ihadjaiva Raja Kaschit Vidhiyatam Arajakam Hino Rashtram Vinasham Samavapnuyad. This is what they discuss in the it is called Narajaka Sarga. In that Narajaka Sarga, all the ministers discuss what are the pitfalls that a kingdom will encounter if there is no Raja for that kingdom. For example, if there is no Raja, good activities, satsanga, satkaryas will not happen. When satkaryas do not happen, the adharma can take place in those times. So when adharma takes place, then it will spread. So it will start with simple robbery, from there it will spread. So like that, when these things are spreading and there is no control, the Samanta Raja in the neighboring kingdom, that fellow will think, okay, it looks like there is some anarchy in that kingdom, let me try to capture this now. So they will start coming. Then the subjects will be disturbed. So all this is described. So immediately for Ikshvaku Vamsha, we have to decide that there has to be a king. Let us appoint a king. Who can be appointed a king now? As per Kaikeyi's and Dasharatha's wish, it has to be not Kaikeyi's wish, which Dasharatha has agreed. It has to be Bharata. So they decide to bring in Bharata and they send the Dutas and they all go there. And Bharata, meanwhile, in the Kaikeya Raja, he gets a Duswapna. This Duswapna Sarga is 69th Sarga in Ayodhya Kanda. Why I am telling the numbers is, you can remember these numbers so that these are important Sargas. Why, sir, you are telling Duswapna Sarga is important? So, Sita Vivaha Sarga is important, Ramajanna Sarga is important. We all know the importance of those Sargas. Duswapna Sarga, our Pitamaha used to say, this Sarga here in Duswapna and one Sarga in Sundara Kanda where we have Trijata Swapna, which is 27th Sarga, and we have Gajendra Moksha in Bhagavata, where they say that if you read these Sargas, if you have any Duswapna, you have a Swapna and it is a bad dream, all the effects of the bad dreams, the negative energies, the hormones, etc. will be neutralized. So that is the power of this Duswapna Patana Sarga. So Bharata has this Duswapna. What is that Swapna? Swapre Vitaramadraksham Malinam Muktamurdhajam Patantam Adri Shikharat Kalusham Gomaya. So he sees Dasharatha falling from a building on a Gomaya and Malinam, he becomes dirty. So this is what he encounters. There is a description, long description, but what is this? Why I am feeling this kind of Duswapna? And he gets up and sees the Kaikeya Raja says, the Dutas and the people from Ayodhya have come, please talk to them. So immediately he asks, he is my Kaikeyi Mata, nice, our Rama is good, he is my father, hale and healthy, I want to know about my father. So they say everything is, they don't answer, they don't say anything also, you please come, we have to go. That is what they say. And they show that urgency. So Bharata senses there is some urgency, there is something, maybe something might be wrong. So he quickly assembles and gets into the Ratha and comes. Now here, when he is coming to Ayodhya, he comes to Ayodhya. This is what Valmiki describes. Now, but there are, this Ramayana is a kavya based on which many poets survive. Parankavinamadharam. There is a Kavi called Bhasa in Sanskrit literature. Bhasa. He has written one Nataka called Pratima Natakam. Pratima Natakam, what is the Katha Vastu of this Natakam is? It speaks about Bharata's arrival to Ayodhya from Kekeya. And on his way, there is something called Pratima Griha before he enters the Ayodhya. What is this Pratima Griha? The plot of the story is Pratima Griha is such a Griha. So the charioteer stops in the Pratima Griha to take, just like we stop here when we drive long distances. The charioteer stops. He says you can have some paniya, you can wash your feet and we can go further. So he comes to what is this Pratima Griha? This Pratima Griha contains all the, it is like a museum. It contains all the statues of the kings of Ikshvaku Vansha who have passed away. So he comes and enters the Pratima Griha and he is happy that this is the Pratima Griha of Ikshvaku Vansha. So there it is just like this. So the first Pratima. So as soon as he enters, he sees the first Pratima. Oh, Ikshvaku Maharaja. Then he sees Raghu Maharaja. Then he sees Dilipa. Then he sees Aja. Then suddenly there is one more statue by the side of Aja. That statue is Dasharatha. So now he is thinking, why is Dasharatha statue here? Only museum means what? Museum means only people who have passed away, those statues are kept. So now I am seeing Dasharatha's statue here. Who has something happened to my father is what Bhasa's Nataka brings in a plot like that, wherein somebody says and he is unconscious and he is brought to the palace in the chariot. This is the, so Param Kavina Madharam. Ramayana becomes a resort for all the Kavis to expand their creativity and apare kavya samsare kavireka prajapati. So all the Kavis they write only on Ramayana and Mahabharata. So this so Bharata now comes to the palace. First he enters Dasharatha's palace because he had the dream. So he wants to see first his father. So he comes and enters the palace and see Dasharatha there. Then he thinks, where would Dasharatha be? Oh, Dasharatha is always in Kaikeyi Mata's place because he loves Kaikeyi more than anybody else. So let me go to Kaikeyi's Mata's place, and he goes there and he sees Kaikeyi Mata. At that time, he is not finding Dasharatha. So he asks, what happened to Dasharatha? Where is he? Where is my father?
Yagatis sarva bhutanam tam gatis te pita gataha.
Yagatihi sarva bhutanam. Whatever is the end result of all jivarashis in this bhuloka, that is the gati which your father has attained. This is how she answers. Then he understands. Bharata is also undergone all this education along with Rama. So he is also a well-versed person, he is a scholar. So he understands that, oh, what happened to my father? Why did? So she says he passed away. Then he asks slowly that question, one by one he asks questions, where is Rama, where is Sita? He says they are also not there. What happened to Rama? Where is Rama? So she says that Rama has gone to the forest. So at that time there is, then why did Rama go to forest? Did he do some mistake, some unpardonable mistake for which Dasharatha might have punished him? What are the three unpardonable mistakes he says? Brahma Hanana, then Paradara Abhimarsana. So has he troubled any wife of somebody, or has he troubled a Daridra or an Adya? What is the papa that he has done for which Rajya Bramshana? That means you are sent away from the kingdom and you are made to go to the forest. So at that time Kaikeyi says, Na paradaranam chakshurbyamapi pashyati Ramaha. Rama does not see any other people's wife even by his eyes. So chakshurbyamapi na pashyati. Saha oka mata, oka bana, oka dara, oka patni. That is the vrata of Ekadara Vratastha. He is an Ekadara Vratastha. So he is such a, then he did not do anything. Then what happened? Then she explains the situation, how the two varas were taken. Then Bharata is furious. Why did you do this? And he is very, very angry. And he decides that, okay, let me go. And he understands what would have happened to Kausalya Mata at this stage. So he understands she will be in terrible agony. So let me go and meet her and do namaskaram to her. So he quickly exits that Antapura of Kaikeyi and goes to Kausalya Mata, and then he prostrates, before he prostrates to her, Kausalya Mata, she says, Agataha krura karyayaha Kaikeyaha Bharatasutaha tamaham drashtumichami Bharatam dirghadarshinam. So she uses something called kaku, that is sarcasm. Bharatam dirghadarshinam. Oh, Bharata dirghadarshi, Bharata is coming. That means he is a visionary person. See, he was in Kaikeya Raja. He made his mother ask the kingdom being there, and he wants, if he wanted the kingdom, he could have asked me, or he could have asked directly. But he is Bharatam Dirghadarshinam Krura Karyayaha. He has made all these things happen indirectly. So he is responsible for that. Maybe he had that wish, that is why Kaikeyi Mata has asked these things. So everybody in Ramayana at the first instance, they doubt Bharata. But Bharata is not at all to be doubted. Every time he has to explain his position. So first here also he is explaining his position. So he is telling this, I have never thought like this. And that entire sarga in Ramayana, Pancha Saptatitama, the 75th sarga is called Bharata Shapata Sarga. What is this Bharata Shapata Sarga? He says to Kausalya Mata, if you yourself are doubting me, you are my Mata, you are doubting me, how else can I go and convince the entire, you are the first person I am meeting. How can I go and meet others in this world? The moment they will all say, Bharata, he is a Krura, he has sent Rama to forest. This is how they will start talking to me. Now you see, the entire world is having a false impression about me. How will I convince this? So he does a sapata. He says, if I, by any, in the corner of my mind, if I had even the least of the intention to send Rama to the forest or to become a king, then let all these sins come to me. He lists a big list of sins. All the entire Manusmriti and Dharma Shastra is covered here. All the Dharma Shastra, he says, one of the examples is Ubhe Sandhye Shayanasya Yat Papam Prakurvate. So, this is very useful for our children. Some of us do not get up early in the morning. What they say is the Sandhya Kala. We saw today in the Sandhya Kala, our Matas, all the ladies here, they were chanting the Lalita Sahasranama, Saundar Lahari, all the Mangala Shlokas. This is how all the evenings when Sandhya Kala should be worshipped, or they should be spent the time. Even in the mornings also, we should get up early when the sunrise and the sunset happens. As per Bharata, day 6 and 6. Here it is, the sunrise and sunset is totally different. So we have to be, when the Sandhya Kala is there, we have to do auspicious things. And we have to do Bhagavan Namasmarana. We have to light the lamp. Many people, they are not there in the house only. Now today you have some system, somebody was showing me that system, it's a remote or something, completely automatic system. If you can switch off the lights from your office, you can switch on the lights from your office. So like that they are doing. Still, if they remember the Sandhya Kala and they switch on the lights of the Puja Graha, still it is an auspicious thing. Ubhe Sandhye Shayanasya. If somebody is sleeping in these times, whatever is the sin that occurs to them, let that sin come to me. This is how one Shapata, one Shloka, it becomes one Shapata. Then he says, if somebody is doing Mitra Droha, let that sin come to me. Then he says, if somebody is he is walking on the way, he sees a cow. So just for fun, he just touches his leg on the cow and he just pats that cow by the leg. That is a big sin. You cannot touch your cow with the leg. Go Mata it is. So that is a sin. Like that he starts listing all the sins and he says, let all those papas come to me. If I have thought about this before and all this was intentional and it was because of me, then But then our Kausalya Mata is fully convinced. About 50 shlokas, he says, she is fully convinced that there was no intention of Bharata in this. So he says, Parishvajya Mahabahum Ruroda Prishadukkhita. She embraces it and she cries and she says, extremely sorry, I have hurt your mind. So then the next karyas have to be done. Some Ayodhya Dehika Sanskara of Dasharatha happens. All the Sanskara, Vasishtha and other Maharishis, they guide Bharata. And Bharata and Shatrughna, they are crying, they are unable to do the Sanskara only. Like that it happens. Then Shatrughna thinks for a while, who is the reason for all this? That mantra. He tries to go and take her to task, but then Bharata says, you leave her, she is just a dasi. Why are you trying to hurt her? The main problem lies with Kaikeyi. So like this they all think. Then he calls them for a meeting. Bharata immediately calls for a meeting of all the ministers and he says, now that Dasharatha is passed away and you are saying that I should become the king, I will not become the king. Because he says, he just put forth one argument. Ikshvaku, you have been in Ikshvaku, Vasishtha, he says, you have been in Ikshvaku Vamsha for so many years from those days. Who is the person who comes to the throne? The eldest son. Why are you asking? I am not the eldest son. Why are you asking me to claim this throne? So that is why it is called Dharma Kanda. Everybody stands on their dharma. Still dharma. So Kausalya is standing on her dharma, Kaikeyi is doing her dharma, Dasharatha is doing his dharma, Rama is doing dharma. This is Dharma Kanda, Ayodhya Kanda. So now, then what are they going to do? This kingdom should have a king. If you are not going to say, we cannot make Vasishtha the king, he is a Maharishi. We can't make the minister Sumatra as the king. So now what shall we do? Bharata says, I will go where Rama is there and I will bring Rama back and I will convince Rama to come back. This is my promise. Let us all plan for going together to meet Rama. So then he says, he calls for expert road pathways, all the road contractors, he calls them. He says, now you have, he gives a verbal tender. He says, now immediately, this is the distance from here to there. Please construct the roads. All of us have to go. The entire Paurajanas have to go. It should not be a forest path. You have to construct the marga and make sure you don't disturb the trees. He specifically mentions that. And see that how you can do the path. So they all quickly create that road path and all of them they start going towards the forest and they slowly come to the place where Shringi Pera Pura, our Viswanathan. So Shringi Pera Pura, there is one person called Guha. What is Guha? He was a tribal king. He was a Samanta Raja of Dasharatha, from Dasharatha's days. He loved Rama very much. And Rama and Guha Samagama happened when Rama went to the forest. At that time, Guha washed the feet of Rama and Rama gives Alingana to Guha. So Rama gives Alingana to only few people. First is Sita, Hanuman and Guha. Sugriva also he gives Alingana. So some special people, his friends and his bhaktas. So when Guha is a bhakta of Rama. He is ready to do whatever Rama wants. So Guha only takes Rama, Sita, Lakshmana across the river Ganga and he arranges for all that and they go there. Now Bharata is come here. Now when he sees that Bharata Sena is coming, he calls all his tribal people and says, there is Bharata, looks like it is Bharata coming. If he is going there to meet Rama and kill him, because you see, now this is the second person who is doubting Bharata. So if he is going there to kill him, let us all be ready to fight the war here itself. We should not allow Bharata to go there. This is the strategy which they say, but let me talk, let me give the signal, you all be by the side. So now Guha and Bharata meet and when Bharata says, I want to know where Rama was. I heard that Rama came here. Rama, I want to know where he has gone. I want to bring him back to Ayodhya. Guha is surprised. What kind of a brother he is? Ayatnath, this Ayatnath Agatam Rajyam Yastvam Tektu Vihechasi. That means, suppose somebody gives you the kingdom or somebody gives you a property, you say, thank you very much, and you will take the property. Here, you have got this Rajya, this entire Ikshvaku, this Bharat, this Chakravarti position of this entire Rajya without any effort. Your Mata asked as a boon and you got it. Now, you want to leave that Rajya which you have got it without effort. You would not have got this in your life because you are the second Putra. You can become an Yuvaraja. You can never become the first position. Now, that position which you could never have got in this life, you are saying, I don't want. What kind of a brother you are? He salutes, whatever you want help, I will do. Then Bharata asked, where did Rama sleep when he came here? Rama slept here. So Bharata goes there and touches the grass where Rama, Lakshmana and Sita have slept, and he feels that grass and he cries. And then he says, he asks Guha, why don't you give me the jata for me also? So actually Bharata, from when he is coming from Ayodhya, he does not come with the jata. And here he wears the jata and he goes to meet Rama. Rama he was with Jatadhari and he is there. Let me also wear jata. And he goes. And again Guha helps him to cross the Ganga. They cross the Ganga and they go to Bharadwaja Atithya. So this is an interesting sarga. Now you have more than 1 lakh people, all the citizens coming to Bharadwaja Atithya. Bharata goes to Bharadwaja and meets. So Bharadwaja looks at him. Bharadwaja is a rishi, he is a sarvajna, but still he looks at him with suspicion and he says, what is it? He says, I want to know where Rama is. It seems that he came here. Then Bharadwaja doubts him. He looks at him with suspicion. Again Bharata says, you are also a sarvajna. You are a maharishi. You know what is bhavishyat and bhuta and what has happened. Why are you doubting me, you being a maharishi? So you see, Bharata always faces this situation. So then Bharadwaja says, no, I just wanted to test you. I wanted to hear from you. He says, I want to take back Rama. So Bharadwaja says, they are in Chitrakuta. You can go there. Probably they will be there. They will have an ashram there. So he is coming and armies, they are coming slowly. One by one they are coming. And at that time, Lakshmana hears the sound of horses and he hears lot of dust and etc. flying on the sky. So he thinks, who is that? He climbs a big vriksha, a tall vriksha, and he sees, because he is from Ayodhya, he knows the flag of Ayodhya. He sees the Ayodhya flag and he says, Bharata is coming. So he is very furious. He says, Bharata has come to, hey Rama, Bharata has come to kill you. Looks like he is not satisfied with what he got for 14 years. He wants to ensure that he has to be permanently the king. That is why he is coming to meet, coming with his Sena, because he sees Bharata not only himself, along with the Sena, along with the Paurajana. He thinks that the entire army is coming to defeat Rama. So that is how he thinks. Now if we think, then we will always think, oh, Lakshmana always, did he have bad opinions about Bharata? No. What the Vyakhyanakartas say, it is the love towards Rama which makes Lakshmana speak like this. Not that Bharata and Lakshmana were always fighting, etc. That is not the message out of this. Or Lakshmana did not like, he hated Bharata. That is not the story. It is the love towards, the preeti towards Rama, prema towards Rama, the extreme devotion towards Rama, the extreme love towards Rama makes him speak like that. Then Rama says, Dharmamartancha kamancha prithivim chapi Lakshmana ichchami bhavatamarte yetat pratishunomi te. He says, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. If I want anything in this earth, it is only for the sake of all you brothers. It is not only me doing everything. Yetat te pratishunomi. This I promise. It is for the sake of all of us that we do the Rajya Bhara, and he says, Lakshmana, if you are doubting Bharata, let me do one thing. Let me suggest an idea. The idea is, when Bharata is going to come, I am going to tell him, please give the kingdom to Lakshmana. Let us see what he says. If he will, Bhadanityeva Vakshasi, he will definitely accept that. You please go back to Ayodhya. I will take Bharata with me. Lakshmana suddenly becomes silent. He wants to be with Rama and he has come only with that. He is silent. Then Rama says, you please come down, be calm. Let us wait for Bharata to come. So Bharata comes and Rama Bharata Samagama happens. Bharata is coming. So Bharata is very eager to see Rama. So imagine Rama is sitting there. So in that stone. So Bharata comes, and when he is coming, because he is seeing Rama from afar, he couldn't gauge the distance where he is. So he falls at Rama's feet, 4 feet before only. That is on the ground. He is very, very eager to meet Rama. Then Rama takes him by the side. He makes him sit on the lap of Bharata sits on the lap of Rama. And this is the 100th sarga in Ayodhya Kanda, which is called Kachit Sarga. It has 76 shlokas. So Rama consoles Bharata. So he thinks that he is missing Rama. So he asks a lot of questions. Now that you have become the Yuvaraja, are you doing these works? He reminds Bharata of all the Rajaniti Shastra, the governance, the finance aspects, the governance aspects. So our Viswanathan has done a PhD on this sarga. So it is a 76 slokas, lot of governance aspects. The entire Chanakya's Arthashastra, the bija of Arthashastra was there in the Vedas. And since the bija in the Vedas, which is Arthashastra, is supposed to be an Upanga of Atharva Veda, the economic shastras that we say, but that is not available today. But it was not available. Ramayana is a Veda Pratipadya Grantha. So all that Arthashastra, the essence of the Arthashastra is in this sarga. And that the Chanakya Niti Shastra also says, Chanakya's Arthashastra also says. This entire thing is about that. For example, Ayaste Vipular Kaschit Kachilal Vyayah Apatreshu Nate Kachit Kosho Gachati Raghava. He asked Bharata, is your income significantly greater than the expense? Revenue should be greater than your expense. This is the first question. Lot of questions in between he asked this. It should be significantly greater. You can't say it is greater by 1 rupee, hence balance sheet tally. You can't say like that. It has to be significantly greater than that. So this is one of the questions. Laghumulam mahodayam kaschidartham vinischitya laghumulam mahodayam Kshipramarabhase kartum nadirghayasi raghava. Do you have a base capital, Laghu Moolam Mahodayam, which can be used for emergency purpose, which we call as reserves today, reserves in our balance sheet? Do you have this with you? And when you are doing your operational expenditure, are you spending from the capital which is a reserve, or you are spending from the incomes which interest out of it, or the income which comes as operational income? So how are you spending this? These are the questions which they ask. Now you see, these are some of the questions. The other one of the questions is, he talks about Kaschit swadu kritam bhojyam yeko nashnasi raghava kachidasham samanebhyah mitrebhyah samprayachati. He talks about something called, actually the first line of this shloka is, are you eating the food? When you are eating the food, are you distributing the food and eating? So if there is a food that we have to eat, there are two people here, we have to say, do you want? So we have to offer them, we have to give them the food and then take. Now this is a Rajaniti Sarga where he is explaining the Rajaniti and he is explaining all the economics, Arthashastra. Where is this food coming inside in between? So what it means is the Vyakhyanakartas say Dhanamiti Seshaha. Dhanam, this to be applied for the wealth. That means when you are having surplus profit or surplus what you call, you have to distribute the dividends to the shareholders as per the current law. So there he says, Kaschid asanshamanebhyaha mitrebhyaha bhavan prayachati va. Are you distributing the dividends correctly? Are the dividends distributed only to the people who have invested or the well-wishers also? So the concept is slightly different here. The dividend, the stakeholders, what we call in project management, they are different stakeholders. Some may be directly involved in the project, some may be indirectly involved in the project, but they do good things for the project. Same way, there are well-wishers. Concept of well-wishers. Today we are talking of a new concept called social impact assessment. There we are going, the entire country, India is going to go through this. Non-profits and social organizations are going to be listed there is going to be a listing for those companies also. So in that concept he is asking, are you distributing the dividends even to the well-wishers? They have been well-wishers to you. So these are the important things. And one of the other questions is, are you giving salaries on time? So because there are many people who need the salary on time. If you don't give it on a particular date, they will have commitments which they have to meet. So you may be having more money, but you have to give the salaries on time. So these are some of the questions that he asks, and there is one more questions. How are you appointing your ministers? Are you selecting the ministers based on some criteria, or directly you are selecting? So in that Ayodhya Kanda, as per the research of Viswanathan, there is something called the Upadha test. What is this Upadha test? So there are four kinds of competency assessment that we have to do before you take or select a minister. So that means if he has to become the prime minister, your key ministers, he has to have four qualities. One is the Dharmopada, the religious allurement and the religious thing. The second is Arthopada. He must have the monetary capability, the ability to manage large finances, and he should be able to have Artha Shuchi. Yo Arthe Shuchihi, Sasuchihi, Namardwari Shuchihi, Shuchihi, Manu says. So you should have Artha Shuchitva, purity in transactions of monetary transactions. That is Artha Shuchitva. That kind of a person, that is Arthopada. That is a competency where you test him on related to monetary transactions. Then your desire. He must not have unwanted desires, Kamopada, and the Bhayopada. He should not have any fear in him. So these are some of. So suppose you want to appoint a minister of law and security. That fellow should not have any fear. He should have conquered Bhaya. Then only you can appoint him as a lawyer or judge, or you can appoint him as a chief security officer. Kamopada, if you are appointing a home minister who looks after all the things, if he or the minister of land, if he only is minister of land and he swallows all the land, then what is the use of? He should have won over that. I don't need any land for myself. It is only for Dharma Karya. So these are, you see how these tests are designed. So same way, a finance minister should have gone through Arthopada and he should not be able to touch the reason. My uncle was a cashier in Bank of India. When I was a small boy like him, I was used to ask him, so you are touching money? He says, every day I touch lakhs of money. When I am a cashier, I count money. He says, you are very rich. He says, not even 1 rupee belongs to me. And I don't have any desire to possess that also. Then only I can sit as a cashier in that bank. That is one of the qualities to appoint a cashier in a bank. So Arthopada, and similarly so if all the qualities are satisfied, he becomes a minister. So these are some of the invaluable gems which we get from the 100th Sarga of the Ayodhya Kanda, which is called the Kachit Sarga, because all the word slokas in that Sarga, they start with the word kachit, kachit, kachit. And it is less like how we speak. Oh, would you mind doing this? The way we speak to our children in America. We don't tell them that do this. No instruction like in India. They'll say, oh, do you think you want to do this? Then they'll say, okay, let me think of it. So that is the way Rama speaks to Bharata. Exactly, he speaks that way. I don't think that American language has come from somewhere, and it is came from Ramayana only. So now after this, Bharata talks. Bharata, he is very happy that he has received this Upadesha from Rama regarding the Rajya Bhara. But he listens to all this and he says, our Marana of our Pita has happened. So he tells about this, and then Rama gives all the Nivapanjali what he has to give. And after that, they all are very unhappy, and then they all sit for a sabha, where Bharata starts discussion with Rama, and he says the Ikshvaku Vamsha is like this. So Ikshvaku Vamsha has the eldest son. Now that Dasharatha is not there, and Kaikeyi is also here, you can ask her now what she wants. So you can come back to Ayodhya, I will serve you, you can become the king. This is the first argument, proposal he puts. Then Rama does not agree to it. He keeps on telling it is Pitruvakya Paripalana. My Pita should be a Satya Sandha. Satyaha Sandha Yaha Saha. Sandha means Pratigya. One who does Satya Pratigya always. So if my Pita is not a Satya Sandha, the entire Ikshvaku Kula, right from you also and me also, we will all be called as Asatya Sandha Putra. So you see how it affects us. He tries to convince Bharata in different ways that it is very important for me to hold that pratigya, that dharma. He doesn't get convinced. Then Rama Gita happens. There is one sarga in this one where before that the Ramanveshanam, Rama Gita, in that Rama Gita, Rama says, whatever is supposed to be together will become separated one day. Similar is the life. If this prana and this sharira has to be together, then it is there today. Jiva is there today. This jiva has to get separated sometime. So he gives, just like you have Krishna giving Upadesha to Arjuna, Rama gives Upadesha to Bharata and says, this is how it is. So let us not worry about this. Whatever Satyavakya Paripalana we have to do, let us do it. That is what he convinced. Then the Jabali Maharshi comes and says, as Viswanathan told already, the Nastikavada. So he says, don't worry about it. Dasharatha has already gone away. Let us accept this. So they all think of all these things, and finally Bharata is so determined to take Rama, he is not getting convinced at all. So Rama sees the intent of Bharata, the bhakti of Bharata, the devotion of Bharata. So he is thinking, while he is thinking of a solution, Vasishtha also thinks of the solution. And Vasishtha tells Rama, and Rama accepts it, that Paduka of Rama has to be given to Bharata, and Bharata might probably accept it. Now here is the catch. Why does Bharata, when Rama says, okay, you can take my Paduka and rule this kingdom. That is what Rama says and gives the Paduka to Bharata. Now let us analyze this situation. If suppose we have the twin sisters here, Sharmishta and Sanhita. Now if she is having one some vastu which her father brings, the other sister will say, I also want that. She will not be convinced. Suppose that vastu is not there now. Say maybe it's some pencil or something. That vastu is not there now. So now Haricharan Mahodaya, what he will do, his father, he will say, instead of a pencil, why don't you have a pen? Pencil is very light in nature. Pen is very dark. You can write very darkly. See, your handwriting is like this. Like that he convinces her. She takes and she'll say, oh, pen is greater than pencil. She doesn't have a pen. So let me accept this. She'll accept it. This is the exact analogy of Paduka Grahan. So Rama was supposed to go to Ayodhya. Rama does not go to Ayodhya. Rama thinks of a Vastu which is greater than Rama himself, or Vasishta thinks of a Vastu which is greater than Rama himself, which is Rama Paduka. So Rama Paduka was greater than Rama himself. When that was offered to Bharata, Bharata accepted it. This is the logic why Bharata in the last moment accepted and went back. So today we have a Paduka Sahasram by Vedika Vedanta Desika. 1000 slokas on Paduka have been written, and this Paduka, so Bharata happily takes the Paduka on his head and he goes to Ayodhya, and he reaches Ayodhya and he thinks, what should I do? Tato nikshipya matrih sayodhyam dridam vrataha bharata shoka santaptaha gurun idam athabravit. So he says, Nandigramam gavishyami. I will not stay in Ayodhya only. I will stay to the outskirts of Ayodhya and make the Paduka the king. Neither Rama is the king nor Bharata is the king. Let Paduka be the king. And Paduke tvabhishyata nandigrame vasattara bharata shasanam sarvam padukabhyam nyavedayan tatastu bharata shriman abhishikyarya paduke taradhinastada rajyam karayamasa sarvara. Whatever work he was doing, he was every day when he catches, when he gets his security guards to catch a thief in the kingdom, he will come and say, today my security guards caught 2 robbers. This was done, oh Paduka. And if he gets an income of say 1 lakh rupees, he says, today we got 1 lakh rupees by your grace. Then if he says, today we have expended so many 20 lakh rupees for Godana, today we have done Vaidika Karya, this expense was 10 lakh. Like this, he reports to Paduka every day, morning and evening. And this is how first he tells everything to Paduka, and then he will do the Rajyabhara. Before doing, he will take permission. After doing, he will come and report. So this is how he was doing the Paduka Rajya. Karyam upaiti kinchit upayananchopahritam mahadham sapadukabhyam pradhamam nivedya Chakara paschat bharato yathavat Komala charanam shitala charanam Komala charanam shitala charanam Manjula charanam mama guru charanam Manjula charanam mama guru charanam Komala charanam shitala charanam Komala charanam shitala charanam Manjula charanam mama guru charanam Manjula charanam mama guru charanam Adbhuta charanam anugraha charanam Adbhuta charanam anugraha charanam Ati adbhuta charanam anugraha charanam Ati adbhuta charanam anugraha charanam Sadguru charanam sada bhajamyaham Sadguru charanam sada bhajamyaham Sadguru charanam sada smaramyaham Sadguru charanam sada smaramyaham Sadguru charanam sada namamyaham Sadguru charanam sada namamyaham Komala charanam shitala charanam Komala charanam shitala charanam Sadguru charanam mama guru charanam Sadguru charanam mama guru charanam Sadguru Paduka Maharaj ki jai. After the Paduka Pattabhisheka, Rama decides that if I stay in Ayodhya, all the Ayodhya people, everybody know my address. They will all start coming one by one. 15 days they will come for a resort stay. Long weekends they will come here. So let me not stay here. So he decides and goes into the Dandakaranya, and before he goes to the ashrama of Atri Anasuya. So the Ayodhya Kanda, the end of Ayodhya Kanda, Valmiki has planned in a very beautiful way. He ends it with the Sita Kalyana. What sir, in Balakanda we just don't did Sita Kalyana. Why is Sita Kalyana coming here? So Anasuya and Atri are Maharshi Dampati. So he goes there. So Anasuya asks, what happened to you? she is like a mother to Sita. So she asks, Sita Kalyana is described by Sita in her own words to Anasuya. Anasuya gives her Vastra, Divyalankara, Vastra and Abharana, which is going to be later useful for Sita, because when Ravana is going to carry her, she is going to remove those ornaments and put it there, and which is going to help the Vanaras show it to Rama, and lot of incidents are going to happen. So these things happen, and it finishes with Sita Kalyana, and Rama enters the forest, and he enters the hearts of the rishis. Tapasashrama Mandalam. He enters the Dandakaranya and he enters the hearts of the rishis. Let Rama enter the hearts of us, just like how we entered the hearts of the rishis. Ramante Yoginaha Yasmin iti Ramaha. One whom the yogis rejoice in, he is called Rama. Let that Rama rejoice in our hearts. With that, we offer this this entire thing to this entire thing. And let the Paduka Pattabhisheka is, what is the significance of Paduka Pattabhisheka? If Paduka Pattabhisheka, this Paduka Bharata says, when he is handovering the Rajya to Rama, he says, whatever was X has become 10X. Bhavataha Tejasa Sarvam Dashagunam Yatha. So, what if there was X revenue when Dasharatha was ruling, the revenue became 10X when Paduka was ruling. Now, at this stage, I am giving the afterthing. So, Paduka, the Paduka Puja of Guru, Paduka Puja of Rama this proves that Paduka is greater than this one. Ayodhya Kanda is a Dharma Kanda, then Upasana Kanda for the Paduka. And we see all the Dharma Sukshmas in this Kanda. And Sita Vivaha also comes for the second time. With all this Mangala thing, we offer this Pravachanam and this entire thing to the lotus feet of our Ram Lalla here and all the Devatas here. And we thank the authorities for this wonderful opportunity in this temple. And we thank the audience who have taken time and who have come for this, to hear to this Rama's Bhagavad Guna. And we are, as we know that we are a non-profit organization in India and in the US. So we have some books and products. If anybody is interested, you can look at it.
स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्याय्येन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु राम 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 राम.
Thank you so much. We'll have a quick Arati followed by Prasad Sanmanam, and after that please have Prasad before we leave. Yeah. So as we mentioned here, so these great scholars, they can go on and on and on forever. The kind of knowledge, information that they have. Vyoma brothers are giving a talk in two more places in Dallas area, one in Lakshmi Ganapati Temple in Plano and in Karasiti Hanuman Temple on Sunday 2 o'clock, and tomorrow at 6 o'clock in Plano. We have some books that I will show from the table here. What are the products? Bhagavad Gita and Sanskrit, so they are available. They chanted all the 24,000 shlokas of Ramayana in 9 days in Austin. So just chanting 700 shlokas of Bhagavad Gita will take 3 hours with a gap of some time in between. So every day 2700 shlokas they chanted, and on top of it they were given pravachan for 3 hours every day. So that kind of energy that Paramatma has given them right after landing from India. When we travel from India and come, we have jet lag. So these people had no jet lag. Only 2 hours they were sleeping through. Only 2 hours in a day they were sleeping. And